Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and we are doing a check-in to see where I am on using the stash May 2026. So if you are new to this process of me trying to use my stash, this has been an ongoing process for multiple years now. My stash hit critical mass and beyond about 5 years ago. So I've been trying to focus more and more every year on using stash. So far, this year is going really well. It's been slow, but there tons of factors have played into that where life is just, life's. It gets in the way, best laid plans and all that stuff. It's been 5 days since I filmed my last show and tell. I'm filming this Friday, the day before you're going to see this. And I have put heels in a pair of socks. I did a toe for another pair of socks. And that's all I've done. Oh, and one row on the cedar mount. It's just been busy. And I'm also having a lot of inflammation this week. So energy's at a premium right now. So I'd opted to do the room not look pretty for you guys. So we're going with the naked mole rat and full acne on display and everything else. So that's life. But yes, using the stash, it's been about 5 years where more and more I'm trying to focus on using the stash, bringing less in every year and using more than what I am bringing in. So I've set up certain parameters. Originally, it just started with the low buy. In the course of I tried a no buy year, and of course I was going to fail in no buy. The next year I did a low buy, and I set the parameters for every 100 grams of yarn I use, I can put $1 into the stash. I start with an annual amount. Generally it's about 50% of what my total usage would have been for the previous year. This year I reduced it even further. I think I gave myself a starting budget of like $150 for the entire year to spend on yarn. I have bought a couple of things over the course of the year. I bought 3 skeins from Hobby Lobby. I bought 6 skeins on sale of the Knit Picks Felici. So, there have been a couple of things that I have brought in this year. So I'm not, at no purchasing, but by and large, I have stuck to the premise of the low buy, even with the diminished budget. I'm still, I think right now my current budget, adding in everything up through the end of the month of April, what I purchased, what I haven't, I'm at like $250. So I'm definitely using more than what I'm bringing in. I have not tallied my Felici as part of that. Things that I've needed to finish projects, I am not counting, obviously, because the greater good is getting things out of my stash. We had the same problem with a project that I did back in January with the Pink Panther scarf, where I ran out of yarn, ended up having to purchase yarn to try to fake that last little bit. Anyway, I'm still doing well. I'm ahead of budget. We'll see at the end of May where we stand. May we'll do June is when we'll do our next goals check-in. So we still have another month and a week left to go before I'll do another big goals check-in. But as far as this goal goes, using stash, I'm making headway. It's still not on the yarn wall as visible as I would like it to be. And we will talk about that. I'll take you through the room, show you what I've done. We have done certain things, which is we've reclaimed a lot of the floor space, which I'm very pleased with. I was able to condense some of the yarns for joining blankets in order to make room for in order to take cart downstairs. Some of that yarn is in a bin. Some of that yarn is up here. Some of that yarn got used, but we were able to empty one of the carts. So like some of the goals when it came to what I want this to look like at the end of the year have been successful. Getting floor space, getting things not stored on the floor is really top goal. And once again, we'll continue talking about that as I show you where we are in the room. Before we start the room tour, though, I did want to say, so far this year, I have started 33 projects. Of those 33 projects using stash yarn, I've started 37 total projects, but 2 of those are row 1 and 2 of those are projects for the Bernat lattice that I reviewed. So of my total 37 projects, 4 have been for the purpose of review here on the channel. Of the 22 finished objects I have this year, 17 have come from my stash. So when I say like there's not a ton of visual, there are holes that I've already filled. I did opt to clean before filming this video because I was afraid. Cleaning, unfortunately, really was the priority today. Cleaning came first. So I went ahead and cleaned things, and in that was able to put things into the holes, which is what allowed me to get things off of the floor. So once again, the ultimate goals are to actually functionally do this. These videos are accountability and checking in. So we will see like what I did and where things went, but we have visual change. We have differences. We have things I'm very excited about. And in the pictures at the end, you will see the side-by-side from January to today. At the end of the year, I'm actually kind of looking forward to putting the pictures up all together and seeing what the difference ends up being at the end of the year. But we will see some changes, especially when we look at the side-by-side, but first glance, things are not going to look that different. But I have to say, like, when I think of how I felt, you know, just like 2 months ago, I'm feeling very pleased with where I'm getting. So I feel like this is one of the goals this year where I'm going to start feeling a little bit more accomplished. I have some things that I know will go through yarn very quickly. I just haven't gotten to that point of the year yet. So anyway, I'm going to quit yakking. We're going to do a walk and talk here, and I'm going to show you where things are. Then at the end, we will have side-by-side pictures of January versus May. That way you can see kind of where we're going here. So let me flip the camera and walk you around the room. All right, so first off, this is the area where we're seeing like obviously the most change. We don't have stuff all over the floor here. We don't have stuff all over the floor here. We do still have the Hirschner's worsted. That's because I have not cranked out the hats and scarves for that. That will be an Addie project. Truthfully, it'd probably take me 3 days of just cranking to get those knocked out. I haven't had the time yet. Like I said, we got 1 cart emptied. I put some things in the bin here, some things on the cart. Now, I probably would have shoved everything in the cart, or everything into bins, but that is my last clear bin. I have a bunch of the things that I will be donating at the end of the year stored in the other ones. So that is my last bin there. So I did put my blocking squares. I got new ones. My other ones were finally falling apart. They were 15 years old and had, you know, been steamed, wet blocked, everything else on them for years. They were falling apart. I was losing hunks. So I did replace those. So these will probably always stay in the floor. They don't really fit anywhere until maybe if I get the closet cleaned out. End goal is to have everything in that closet out on the walls, and then I can use that closet for household storage. So eventually that's where we're going to be, maybe by the end of next year, not this year. So since we're facing this wall, nothing changed. We have a gap here, and we had a hole large enough to put 3 bags of yarn. So these were actually sitting on the other Michael's version of the Raskog cart. This is Barocco Vintage. This was one of my gifts to myself, prizes to myself after finishing goals last year. This is the Ula and Leah Kickstarter from last year. And as I was cleaning and sorting and organizing, I found these 4 skeins of Yarn Love and went ahead and put those in a bag together. I'm trying very slowly to sort projects or groups together in these bags. I can leave these tagged below on Amazon. I actually really like these for the projects or projects that I have set aside. So we had that huge hole, But not only did that hole get filled, we now have a massive gap up here. So visually, we kind of lose what the change is because we have something different filling this hole, but that was a hole when I started this morning. Nothing changed. Here we have 3 skeins of the Caring Cakes missing, and I replaced it with these 4 skeins of the Smash Cake. The Smash Cake is one of the ones that was sitting in the floor in the bag that I didn't get to review last year. I don't know what to do with it, so right now I'm just putting it on the shelf. I had a hole. I sold the 3 skeins, 3 cakes that were there. Somebody saw my last check-in and said that was the yarn they needed. So sold that. So that's good. And we have no change here on this shelf. Over here in the floor here, we had the bag of the Caring Cakes that I was going to review last year. We had 2 bags that I just threw in the closet of some miscellaneous stuff that I had been sorting that I haven't gotten to. And for now, it can just live in the closet. It's not in my floor. I have room in the closet for it. I also had the cedar mallet sitting here. The cedar mallet I'm actively working on right now. So all of that was there. The only thing from that stack that doesn't have like a new home, this is the bin of the Caring Cakes that I'm using to join my grandma's flower garden. I have the bag of the yarns I'm using for that downstairs. This will be the joining hexagon yarn for that. So that just needs to be by itself. I might put it in one of my storage bags and put it in the closet just so, again, the goal is to reduce the visual noise here. But whatever. Right now, it's not in my way. We don't really have a whole lot of change here. This shelf is more or less, the entire bookcase has been blocked for me all year. That is one of the skeins of Caring Cake I was going to review last year. This pink and that purple were part of what I was going to review last year. And then, like, this is the confetti. This is cappuccino, I think. No, groovy clouds. And I did get 2 of the slice of anniversary cakes down here. I've already pulled something off of here and I'm not sure what it was because I had a hole. And I know at the end of last year, there was not a hole there. So I pulled something off this shelf at some point and just filled it there. Here I had a cake that I used in another project. So that's what freed up the little hole there. And this one, just there was already a spot for it there. So I'm not sure what it was that I pulled off the bulky shelf down here, but I did pull something off of it. Clearly there was a hole. Like I said, there wasn't one last year. Everything else in this cart lives here other than the Malbrigo bag, which is, I'm not sure why it's there. And the basket with my Caring Cakes and the little finished bits. These are just, I had leftover squares from the quilt GAN. This is the hooded scarf that I still need to write the pattern for. We have some hexagons, some test swatches, things from where I reviewed or did tutorials. So these just, they don't have a home here. I don't have a box or bin specifically for that kind of thing. No real visual change would be obvious through here, as all of these, I mean, they're still over full. So, and fingering just takes so much. I mean, I've pulled probably 15 skeins off this section and it's just not obvious. My bin here of the self-striping is also still very full. I do have a project idea though for all of my farmhouse and Premier fruits, our farm stand and fruits. So this is my acrylic sock bin, and I do have plans for about half of what's in there. I don't know if the microphone is picking that up, but it is like pouring down rain outside. We're having some wicked thunderstorms. We need the rain so bad. It's been 90 all week, so like we desperately needed it. But of course I ran my sprinklers this morning and Troy washed the car, so of course it would rain today. Anyway. Nothing really changed behind my Care Bears here. These guys are just kind of hiding a mess. This is my ALC bin or cube. Nothing's changed here. Nothing's changed here. I do think I have a project though for the Coral Urban Chic. Here's where we start seeing, like, look at that hole. There is a hole. And not only is there a hole, like, there's so much extra room here. I can do this now. Like, things squish in here. So we have that. Then we have this one, which was also another overfilled, overstuffed cube. So was this one. So now this one, it still is pretty full, but I can fluff my yarns back. So this is a fake hole. I have a skein of yarn that I use part of there. So I have a partial that's going to go back there. So this is really my only overfull one still, where it's still jam-packed, like you can't really move, nothing moves. Everything else I can fluff and move. That's another goal I have. I would like to be able to pull things out without things spilling. In reorganizing and tidying, this one looks different, but it's kind of still got the same amount of yarn. There's some other things I added in here just to, you know, make things easier to see. But this is kind of more or less the same. This one's the same. This one I reorganized completely. So it looks neater, but it's got all the same yarn. These next two, all the same. I didn't use a ton of worsted weight, so these really didn't change here much. But this one, I have pulled 5 skeins of this yarn and used it for the Spook Your Spring make-along. And over here, I pulled the rest of the anti-pilling out of here that I'm planning on using for the Cedar Mouse. So these bottom 2 worsteds are actually much looser than they were. This one probably needs to be reorganized because I pulled so much stuff out of it. But since our last check-in, I think the only other one that has a noticeable difference is this one, which now I've got a shawl sitting in here, but I used a bunch of the Premier Basics out of here. So now we've got like this area is now freed up. So we have like a half cube here and about the equivalent of another half a cube, you know, between like these two and that one. But for space, fluffness, we don't really need to, you know, jam anything else in there. So we've made progress. There is a noticeable difference. You can see there's 6 skeins that I put up here that were off the cart. It's 2, 4, 6. These were already here. 2, 4, 6. Those came off the cart. Those were all leftovers from part of Project Christmas Blanket last year. So those belong up here. Everything else is for joining, and I may actually pull these 3 whites down and add those to the joining yarn before it's all said and done. But that's the areas where we have change. We still have my yarnable bucket. I would love to eventually have a shelf on this bookcase for that. That's ideally what we would have in the end. I have, by the way, found some really cool patterns for these cotton cakes up here. I need like 250 uninterrupted hours. And this has kind of got a combination of things. It's got some joining yarns. It's got a bunch of like my black acrylic yarn in it. And then it's got the I-cord that I made last year in it. So, right now it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. Eventually I would like to be able to like probably put some of the yarns back on the yarn wall. So I need room, and those are all worsteds that are just yarns. So yeah, eventually I'd like to get to the point where that would work. We do have, like I said, the Brava Sport that I bought to finish a project. This I pulled out because it will be my cast on project for the month of June's make along, which is large project. Finally starting a large project. And I bought, it's 3 of each color. It's probably easier to see the other group here. I have 3 of each of these 6. and I want to do a linen stitch shawl using those, and I want a long stole shawl. So that will definitely take up my month of June, but it also goes to the quarterly goal of using sport and DK weight yarn. So all of that will be groovy doovy. Now over here we have the 2 spinning wheels that I haven't spun on this year, and the fiber that I'm spinning on this one's there. This is the fiber for this one. And now we have a loom. So somebody was selling the loom, the stand, and a flat storage box full of like cotton cones and the heddles and just a whole bunch of random stuff. And she was selling it for less than the cost of the loom. So the loom and the stand, I think, would have been like $475, I think. And I paid like, I think it was $200 for everything. So it was a really good deal. Troy is the one that found it. He kind of insisted that I went ahead and bought it. I will not be weaving this year. Next year will be when I try to learn how to weave. So 2027. We'll see how that goes. I do want to spend more time spinning this year. I just haven't had 15 seconds. I swear it's like most of what I've worked on this year has been on the go projects. So here we are. Anyway, I don't think anything has changed in here. I did do some like shuffling because I was looking for something on this shelf. But it's something I'd already used. I was afraid I'd already used it, and obviously I was right. But yeah, I haven't touched anything in here. The manatee tonal was already downstairs, so that was a project recast on that I messed up last year. Up here, I have been using this Nomad Stratus in my row 1 projects. So even those are technically using stash yarn. I'm just, it's like half stash, half new stuff. So anyway, nothing else up high has changed other than the yarn I pointed out. But yeah, we've made a ton of progress in probably non-critical pathways, but enough to where I don't feel unachieved. I don't feel like I did nothing this year so far. I at least can tell there are differences. The organization cleanup stuff, I think we'll probably in January, February of 2027 do it where I take everything down, sort it, organize it, and put it back up again. To just make everything look neater. I am hoping by the end of 2026 to have at least 3 cubes empty. So we'll see where we end up with that. But that would be the like creme de la creme of trying to process things through, finding the right projects for certain things. I have a bunch of stuff in this one where, you know, they were bought to be shawls, and I just kind of need to sit down and start knocking some of those out or converting them to other projects. But I'm very excited. I really wanted to share with you guys. I thought about holding off, and I was like, well, you know, the point of the video isn't to be like, it's not to show off like all of a sudden there's like a huge difference. The point of the videos is accountability and, you know, talking to you guys about what my process has been, where I am in my headspace on this, and being realistic, a realistic look at how this is. It's not a fast process. It's a very slow process. And, you know, even when I pull out the Addy, you know, I can, in a month, you know, I can make 100 hats and scarves, but I'm still going to have yarn left over. And while that might be one big jump for, you know, a month of just cranking things out, I'm still going to have, you know, 9 million fingering weight hanks. And how do I use these? And how do I functionally use these? And eventually, you know, I've got to start turning my eyes to my hand-dyed minis and stuff too. So like, I want to be honest and transparent about this, and talk honestly about like what my process is as I'm going through these things and how I'm thinking my way through them. I do have a couple of items like the homespun down there that I might donate at the end of the year. I might do the Karen mini cupcake things too, just because I used up probably about 40 of those, and those last couple ones, it's kind of like, I really don't want to do bulky hats. I really preferred the thinner yarns, and we have a lot of new knitters and crocheters that I think would have fun making hats out of those. So I might donate those at the end of the year. But I will go through and kind of reconsider some things, if I want to donate them, if I want to keep them. And like I said, in January, I think I might do a whole, take every single skein down, sort them, organize them. I'll take them down by group. So I'll take down all the fingering weights. I'll go through all the cakes, things like that. And just bring everything together kind of in a neater visual. But anyway, I don't want to take up any more of your Saturday morning here. We'll look at the pictures, January versus May. And y'all can see whether or not you see the difference. I can see the difference. Like I said, there are weird things where, I've put stuff there, like where I'm keeping the row 1 shawl. But like this one is still very obvious that stuff is missing. So anyway, I love you guys. I will see you real soon. Please take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.